Again, I'm Casey Weigel with Owner Services Group. Owner Services Group is a specialist, very much a specialist type of firm. First of all, we specialize in what is called owner representation, or put more simply, project management or program management. The other thing that we specialize in is we specialize in working with libraries. So we're a bit of a niche player, so to speak, in our business. We've been in business for almost 20 years now, and in the course of that 20 years, we've worked with roughly 36 public libraries within northeastern Illinois on expansion, renovation, and new construction projects. So that's why I say we're very much a specialist type of a firm. We are not an architect or a design firm. We are not a constructor or general contractor. We are simply owners' representatives who advise and represent libraries through the planning, design, construction, and move-in stages of a project.
We would, obviously, I think the board's thinking in terms of, once this closes, we would probably have some meetings throughout the city, probably break it down into quarters, and meet in the northwest quarter, in the southwest, southeast, northeast, etc., and get the input from the community as to what they want. Now, I assume that would fit into your scheme from the standpoint of, then the board would decide and say, this is what we think we should have. Right. What I understand, then working with the architect, they would tell us, well, what size we can have with the lot that we have. Right. And of course, we'll be working with the city also relative to any variations that we might need relative to parking or special kind of treatment. And cover that at the same time. And at that point in time, you could perhaps then tell them what they want is, this is what it's going to cost.
Right. The architect that we've chosen, Gary, is very, very good at that. He handles the public meetings. He finds out, he has open forums with the board, with the public. We're there as well, and we listen and we get the input. We hear what the board has to say, we hear what everybody has to say. And Nagel will probably come up with a couple of options, and they want to know what it is that you don't like about those options, because once they know that, then they can focus on, okay, they didn't like that, so let's look at something else. And each thing has a cost implication at the end of the day, and a time. So we get to grips with it and produce the pro forma budget, which would get to be, it's developed over a period.
A very basic question,
sure.
And I don't know a great deal about construction, but I didn't know that there was an entity like Owner Services. I assumed that the architect and the general construction person did the things that you do. Now, we will obviously, if we hired you, we would pay you, and that's a sum of money I'm not even sure we had thought about. But why is it that the general construction person and the architect can't meet and work all this out without having to go through and pay an Owner Services?
Well, they could go through and work it out, but it may not be what you want. So there's a lot of things. They primarily deal with construction. But when you move into a library, there's a lot more than construction that has to be sorted out and resolved. And even then, there are items in construction that have to be resolved. We have a process that goes through who's doing what and where at any appropriate time. And the builder is interested in doing the building. He wants to give you a building where he can, how can I put it? His interest is his own. He wants to build it for you, but he wants to make a profit. And there's nothing wrong with that as long as it's a fair profit. The architect, he wants to design a building, he wants to design it to you, but he's going to design what he wants unless you give him input. And that's what we're were there to do, to help with the communication, to help with the fact that your needs and your requirements are reflected in his design.